Hey everyone, it's July 10th when this goes out. Who knows? But July 10th, it's me, King, Marissa, and Dav are out. Dav's, I don't know what he's doing, something with his building, and he's trying to make Water World or something. Marissa's
Water park.
on vacation. Yeah, there you go. Marissa's on vacation. So it's me, King, and that voice you heard, of course, is Air. Yeah. So Air.
Thank you for having me
Hi.
on. So,
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
Kind of needed a third person. Nah, I'm kidding. So
Yeah,
Air
no,
is
he's right. I didn't want to be alone with Spidey.
yeah. I mean, last time we were the
Yeah.
podcast was 2.5 hours almost with Spider-Man.
I'm kidding, but yeah, actually, that was a good podcast too. Actually,
oh,
It
dang.
was, yeah, because Andrew Garfield. Anyway,
yeah.
Air. So as many of you know, Air, he is the admin of the Discord server. So Air, yeah, just let him know your likes, dislikes of anything Machima related or anything in general.
Yeah, I like Fairy Tail. Yeah. I haven't read Eden Zero yet or watched it, but I plan to one day, maybe. I like space, so maybe I'll like it.
Yeah.
Natsu's the best. Lucy's the best, basic stuff.
Air likes titties, so just send them titty pics. What else?
Are you saying that like it would be a bad thing? Like he would enjoy that?
No. I'm not saying it as a bad thing. If it was a bad thing, I'd be like, send them furry tits. That'd be different. But Air. So just quickly, favorite arc in Fairy Tail
Oh, Alvarez.
and why?
It just had some of the best moments in the series, some great climaxes, and there's something for everyone in terms of like all the characters. No matter who your favorite is, they had a moment there. And it just felt like the perfect climax and finale.
All right, cool. I like the answer. So since Air doesn't follow the manga and E King and Air both don't read Eden Zero.
Oh, Paul, you too?
Yeah, actually, I read like the first 2 chapters. I watched some episodes of the anime. I'm like, nah.
So he only saw the episode where Happy is brutally murdered, and he's like, "That's all I need."
It was very lovely though. I like that episode.
I like seeing something when people brutally murdered. If there's something I love in a series, it's seeing someone die in the first episode.
Oh no, I don't care about brutal murder in general. It's just that it was Happy in particular.
Oh yeah.
He has Happy tattooed on his back, like a trap stamp. But
no, it's in my butt crack.
You're right. My bad. So since we can't really talk Eden Zero or Fairy Tail, we will be talking about the MCU, and in particular, Thor: Love and Thunder. So, King, start us off.
Yeah, well, this is the latest. Actually, we should make a note.
How do we? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is all right, everybody. This is our review, so to speak, of the latest addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is Thor: Love and Thunder. This is the latest Thor movie, and also Thor being the very first character in the series to get a 4th solo movie. Everyone else basically capped out at 3, if they were even lucky to get that many.
Black Widow be like,
yeah, that's its own thing. But we'll see what happens to other characters down the line. But to give
never happened.
Well, I don't want necessarily Black Widow to get us another movie, but I meant more like
she shouldn't have gotten one this late. But
it shouldn't have been this late. This should have been like a phase 2 movie or something.
Oh yeah.
But okay, so yeah, just to give everyone a very brief overview based on the trailers, and then we will get into spoiler territory. Thor: Love and Thunder involves Thor trying to find his purpose in a grander universe without his people, basically being alone. And at the same time, a new villain has shown up, a mercenary calling himself Gore the God Butcher, has a weapon capable of killing the gods, and is basically on a rampage. And now it's up to Thor, Valkyrie, and Thor's ex to stop him.
And Korg.
Yeah.
How dare you disrespect Korg, motherfucker?
Honestly.
Well, we'll get to why I find Korg inconsequential later on. But, yeah.
Because he's gay. You're saying because he's gay. I got it.
Yes,
It's okay.
Spidey, that's why. I don't see the issue, man. I don't have a problem with you.
Wow. Oh, I'm married, so joke's on you.
You can't be gay, but okay. Do you want to?
But
Which one of you
yes.
guys wants to go first? Or actually, Air should go first because he's the guest.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, so I think it was actually my favorite Thor movie, and right out the gate, I was unsure where it was going. Because it started with spoiler territory, by the way. So it started with like the villain story, and I thought from the end of the first scene is when I realized that he was actually going to be a good villain compared to most of the MCU villains, because they already started by making him more human, and I'd say you can understand his viewpoint. But throughout the movie, it was just a good time, and I'd say a lot of people I've heard coming out of it said that they thought it had too much comedy, but I think it actually toned it down a little compared to Ragnarok, and I feel like where they placed the comedy versus where they didn't was actually very deliberate and very well planned. So then we can get more into specifics later, but overall, I'd say it was my favorite Thor movie.
Cool. All right,
King?
Spidey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll go
Oh.
then. No, if you, it's up to you. I'll be brief, and then you can go ahead. I thought this was a good movie overall. Like, it's not the best in the MCU, and I actually do think it's a step down from Ragnarok in terms of overall quality and messaging. But in terms of like the villain, yeah, I agree. Christian Bale like pretty much hit it out of the park. I do think that he wouldn't necessarily be like, in a top 3, but he'd be a top 3. One thing I do feel is that I think the movie was a little bit shorter than it needed to be. I think an extra 15 minutes would have actually really benefited the film. But even for that, I think Christian Bale did like a fantastic job as Gore the God Butcher. Still definitely one of the best MCU villains because he's actually like very understandable and relatable, and I thought his turn didn't feel like overly forced because it's in the title of the movie. Obviously, I wouldn't say it's necessarily predictable, but it's everything kind of comes full circle at the end. It's like, okay, yeah, I see where it was coming. I thought Natalie Portman did like a pretty solid job. Like the cancer scenes actually felt relatively realistic,
Impactful.
yeah, like it's like you actually think something is like really going on, and you see like the physical toll that it takes. And I mean, obviously they don't go to the full extent of like the shaved head and all that stuff, which was actually a thing in the comics, but like that's fine, that's just aesthetics. Obviously, like I do have my charisma. I did feel like Korg and Valkyrie ended up being honestly like pretty useless in the movie. Valkyrie in particular we can get to like later on, but yeah, I just didn't think Korg did very much to be a noteworthy inclusion, but that's those two, and obviously Chris Hemsworth always delivers. Spidey?
For me, I agree with Air. For me, it is the best Thor movie, and that's kind of hard because I always thought Ragnarok was like Thor's best interpretation. Everything he did. Overall, Natalie Portman killed it. The cancer scenes, they were very, I don't want to say dark, but they were very depressing, which is, I'm sure, that what their intention was.
Yeah, they had the right tone there.
I didn't expect the movie to go there, but like I felt it.
Yeah, and my grandma died of cancer, so every time I saw scenes like that, I was like, "You motherfucker!" Like I'm remembering what she went through, and
Yeah,
I did enjoy those lighthearted moments with the characters after a serious scene because much like in real life, when something's really depressing, you're sad, somebody's always trying to like bring up the mood, and I felt like this movie did that perfectly. Like you guys said, Natalie Portman killed it. The makeup artist, the makeup team, to make her look like she's so frail and weak, and like you can see it in her face, that they deserve a lot of credit and a lot of praise. Gore himself, I would have loved to see more of him, but I feel like the fact that we saw so little and it kept us even more invested in what he was doing and what he wanted worked out very well. I did like the introduction of all these gods, which is something that Phase 4 seems to be doing in the introduction of the universal god, not universal, but like the gods within the universe.
Yeah, like the rest of mythology, really.
Yes, the rest of mythology. I like how I like the Zeus character. He was a little flamboyant, which is hilarious.
That's exactly what
But
Zeus is supposed to be. He's like supposed to be an asshole who's just terrible and doing shitty stuff.
yeah, so I really liked everything. I would have liked, like you guys said, 15 more minutes. Many movies give too much screen, have too much a long, have too long a runtime. But I
Mhm.
felt like this is one of the few movies where it had too short a runtime.
Yeah.
Because, like you guys said, it would have been so much better.
You can tell
if-
like there are certain ways that the film is shot that you can be like, okay, they definitely had something else filmed and planned for this, but then they cut it out probably during post production.
hmm
I really enjoyed both post credit scenes.
Oh yeah.
They were fantastic. I like how Lady Sif, aka Jamie Alexander, how she's back, even though she was only like in the first two. Then Thor 3 happened, and I was
And
like,
Forgotten. Yeah. I actually
yeah,
didn't expect to see her in this movie. I was like, wait, people remember she exists?
I feel like MCU fans remember she exists.
Yeah.
look, man, she was pretty dope in the first two.
She was, yeah, but then completely underutilized.
Yeah, I think that's the issue with some of the Thor films. They didn't know how to use the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
This
yeah,
probably
Thor
explains why
has.
they killed off the Warriors 3 so quickly in Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, he was like, no,
Mhm.
you're gone, you're gone, you're gone. Her, we'll keep her. See if people remember.
Well, I think she actually,
But
the actress had a scheduling conflict that time.
Okay. It's kind of interesting though that Thor has two of the better villains in the MCU in both Loki and Gore,
Yeah.
but he also has one of the worst ones in the fucking
Malekith? Yeah.
Malekith. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, that's overall quick little thoughts of mine. Do we want to go into specifics, like
Specific
from the
topics?
beginning to
Yeah, I
end?
would say so.
Yeah. All right,
Alright,
go ahead.
so the first thing I want to bring up, the goats.
Mm.
When they first showed up on screen, I was like, what the fuck is this? What's going on? Why is this happening? And then after like the fifth scream, I was like, okay, they're committing to this bit and I'm all for it. And then I started laughing, and every time they were on screen, it always got a chuckle out of me. And then my friends just looked at me and were like, why are you still laughing? It's not funny anymore. I'm like, no, the fact that they committed so hard is great, and it hits you when you least expect it.
So
The best part.
sorry, I just want to add, like, so in the comics, he actually has two goats. They're
Mhm.
called Tooth
Mhm.
Grinder and Tooth Gnasher. And
I kind of had a feeling it was something like that.
it is, yeah. That's exactly what it was. They just didn't have them in the original films, which is fine. I don't really care for them that much anyway. I will say that I thought the CGI on them was not great. There was definitely a lot of like aspects of the film that felt underproduced, which was unfortunate. But I'm not gonna like harp too much on that because there's also just a lot of it that looks really fantastic.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was the whole like reasoning for the goats. But at the same time, and I'll get into this more when I discuss the criticism of the movies. My criticism of like aspects of the movie. But like, yeah, I felt the goats were just kind of an unnecessary gag.
I think on this movie, the IMAX screen was totally worth it because in like the intro scene with like the first fight on New Asgard, and then afterwards just like the scene in Omnipotence Town or whatever, and the end scene, I think just when that full screen filled out and you got all the details, it just kind of, the cinematography was perfect. Was perfect for those scenes, so I thought that was great.
Yeah, I just meant like the green screening was like really obvious with scenes with the goats.
Yeah.
Like I had the same problem actually with Shang-Chi and like a lot of the dragon scenes. Like
Oh
think this
yeah,
is-
I
yeah.
recognize that more on the second view through
Yeah,
rather than the first.
I think the thing with a lot of, and you see this with other movies too, for certain, is that like it tends to be mostly in the case of like the final act where a lot of the production issues tend to come through. But I felt like Thor almost actually had, this movie actually had kind of the opposite in that it was like more of the beginning that had like these weirdness factors, like the fight with New Asgard. People were noticing
Yeah.
like the lighting on Jane Foster was like very off. Obviously the goats thing, but then it's like, well, Omnipotent City looks like fine. The Shadow Realm looked fantastic, but we'll get more into that detail like later on. And the last scene was generally like pretty okay. Probably still has some of the same issues, but honestly, like still better than the goat stuff and the new Asgard stuff.
Yeah.
So I think I was reading that Taika Waititi just added the goats to fuck around and see how they would handle them going forward in the MCU.
That's perfect.
which is hilarious because like, yeah, fuck it, we're adding goats.
They're
You
here
guys
now. We
figure
can't
out.
ignore them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, evidently you can, based on what they did with Sif.
Yeah, true.
They're just gonna put a muzzle on them so they don't start yelling excessively. Another one thing I do want to bring up is, were those Celestials?
Yeah,
they
I
were.
noticed that. I was like, are those just actually Celestials? Are we just gonna ignore that?
Yeah, because we see them when he boats through Zeus,
Yeah.
and then they're leaving, and I was like, wait. I was like, hold on, bro. You can't be showing us Celestials and acting like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you kind of
So-
can. Like, Celestials in the comics are not nearly as, like, crazy as the Eternals film made them out to be. Like, they're just there walking around because they're also higher level beings. Technically, I think
Yeah.
one tier higher than the actual MCU gods. So, like, it to me, it kind of just makes sense for them to be, like, chilling in the area.
I think it's weird for them to be there because if they're a higher level than the other gods, why are they chilling in the same location? I guess they can do what they want, but like, it's weird to see them
I
there.
don't know, like monitoring or something.
Yeah.
Because when I say higher, I don't necessarily mean they're more powerful. Like, most of them, they are, but like
Just like ascended.
yeah. But I think more like they just monitoring, from one thing, was like they want to be aware of, like, the people who are, like, of a relative threat. Like in the comics, just to randomly, but like they're certainly higher than the humans, but they keep tabs on, like, certain humans. Like Franklin Richards, for example, is considered a human who's on their level. So they monitor him, and so I would think that they would treat some of the gods the same way, even if they're technically higher beings, or at least when I say higher, I don't necessarily mean only powered, but also, like, purpose-wise.
Yeah.
Because, like, obviously they get their direct. Well, they haven't explained this part in the MCU, but in the comics, they get their, like, direction from Eternity.
He's Eternity's a humanoid celestial. Right?
No, Eternity is the embodiment of the universe put into the form of a humanoid.
So was there a reason that Eternity looked like Galactus in the movie? Like that's
So
silhouette
he
looked
didn't
uncanny.
look. I will. So it wasn't Galactus. It was the galaxy, and that was actually an accurate depiction of what Eternity in the comics looked like. Galactus being obviously the big purple helmeted dude. And I do wait for the day we see Galactus, but relative to Eternity, like, they did change what he is in this in this movie. But I do think they will probably get into more detail of him, like, in a future Eternals movie or something, because obviously he's the tier above Celestials, alongside guys like the In-Betweener, the one above, well, the Living Tribunal, and those dudes.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. What else? Can we talk about Thor's hammer and Thor's axe?
Oh, yes, we can. Who wants to go first?
King, you
Okay,
could go.
that was great.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. I thought that there was the whole jealous Stormbreaker thing was honestly, like, the best humor in the movie, in my opinion. I thought the first part where they're in the building and Thor's trying to get Mjolnir to come to him, but it doesn't, and then Stormbreaker just turns the corner and shows up. He's like, "Yeah, I totally meant to call you." And then later he's just talking to Jane, lifts up the hammer, being like, just checking, just to make sure he's still worthy. And then Jane takes the hammer and is like, "All right, I'll see you on the ship." And then Thor looks at her as she walks away, and then he turns, and then the camera shows Stormbreaker just hovering there. It almost looks like Stormbreaker is like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like he wants to just, like, cut Thor's head off at that moment. It was, it was
Holding an
very,
axe.
very well. That was great filming, because, like, you totally get those jealous girlfriend vibes. Even, like, during the scene where Thor's complimenting the Thunderbolt weapon that they stole from Zeus, and Stormbreaker gets a little bit temperamental on the ship. It's like, okay, great, I love it. And then he's like, "I'm sorry, I've been, like, it's been weird." And then he pours the beer on him.
Yeah, I thought that was just a great parallel to the other story that they were telling, and just a perfect bit that they could just always keep bringing back.
Yeah. And we'll get to, like, the
They
later
gave-
stuff, of course.
They gave the axe or Stormbringer. My bad. My bad.
Stormbreaker.
They gave it Stormbreaker. They gave it so much personality,
Yeah.
which is something I didn't expect an inanimate object to have. Like, holy shit. Those scenes with, like you guys said, them talking, Stormbreaker slowly creeping up, coming out of nowhere. Thor's like, yo, yo, bro, I'm just saying hi. I'm just being polite. And then when he calls Stormbreaker and it almost tries to hit him, and then Thor's like, chill, bro. Look, man, I was just talking. It was fucking fantastic. I'm so surprised that they were able to pull that off, because if it didn't come out the way it did, it could have been so bad.
Yeah.
Who wants to bring up something else?
I think there's like, so the beginning of the movie, I feel like it with the Guardians, it was neat to have them there, but I almost feel like the movie would have done better if it cut to the chase a little more and cut out that part in favor of fleshing out like the end or the rest of the story a little more, because the beginning just kind of seems inconsequential in the long run of things.
I partially agree, but at the same time, I feel like we obviously needed the conclusion with the Guardians because that's how Thor left in Endgame. And we need to know, like, generally speaking, this is what they're up to next, and that will help set up the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which I believe should be coming out next year. I don't know the exact date, but May. Perfect. Okay, well, I think that's really good. I don't know. I felt that the scene was like pretty. But this felt like a very good way to incorporate the Guardians. Like, I read that James Gunn was like supervising those scenes to make sure everything was staying in character, and for my money, I think it was. I thought the part with like Star-Lord and the shake and the look into the eyes was really well handled. So I mean, I don't know. I felt that stuff was like very well handled, and so like Thor's clearly enjoying what they're doing, and he's clearly, let's be completely honest, he's better at it than they are, for obvious reasons. But it's less like there's another step that he needs beyond that, which we get to at the end.
While King catches his breath, the fucking guy is over here meditating in the beginning, chilling, and then fucking Thor was like, "Yo, we need your help, bro."
Everyone's fighting for their lives out here. He comes out, just one-shots everyone, just literally spends the entire first part of the movie
after
flexing.
he Harry Potters into the battle.
Dude was getting ready for a Quidditch match. He was getting. I love the fucking scene where he has both his legs stretched out and he's like, ah!
I just love where it's him fist fighting and then he just throws the axe to show that he could have just one-shotted them all at once, and he was literally just showing off the entire time.
And then he destroys the temple and he's like,
and then they call him,
man, he
thank
really
you,
don't
Lord
have
God
to.
of Destruction.
Yep, the passive aggression there.
It was fantastic. I feel like that scene was essentially needed because it kind of puts us in the mindset of Thor, who he's just trying to figure out who he is. I think he's basically having a midlife crisis at age like 500 or something. So it does. Oh my bad, 1500. I said he was younger than he was. I just felt like he needed something to do, and he was trying to meditate. He's trying to meditate things, figure out who he is.
Hasn't he been having that midlife crisis for like 5 movies now?
Not exactly.
Oh,
I
he
feel
had
like
it
in the first movie. It was more just like a turn to become a responsible person, and you can say that continued for the next 2 movies. But then he realized there's a difference between responsibility and like, you know, purpose.
Yeah.
And then in Thor 3, he realized he didn't want to be the ruler.
No, that was Thor 3. Thor 2 is like, I don't want to be the ruler, but then Thor 3 is like, I have to be the ruler. And then Endgame's like, well, I'm not really built for this.
No, in
I'll just do what I have to.
And didn't he give up?
No, that was Endgame where he gave it up. Ragnarok was where everything blew up and he had to be the ruler.
It just ended with Thanos. Yep.
Oh, okay. Cool. My bad. I don't know the MCU, clearly.
Now those movies meld into each other. Those 3.
And I feel like in Endgame and when he was Fat Thor, shout out Fat Thor, he was going through depression because of everything he went through. Midlife crisis is more like depressed state, and then in this
Yeah.
one, it's fully like I don't know what to do with my life.
Yeah,
I'm
okay, that's true.
I'm 1,500 years old. What is there to do? I'm good at killing and destroying shit. Throw my axe and boom, you're all dead. But like, there's got to be more to it. And then when he had that conversation with Star Lord, where Star Lord, you could tell he was hurting too because he lost Gamora,
hmm
and he's like, you know what, you got to look at the people you love, and then we got that little gag. um, I think that's the difference between these, where we talked about right now. That this one, he's truly finding out who he wants to be and what he is, which is why I think the ending worked very well.
Yeah, I thought the theme of love was very well executed with all the different
Yeah.
parallels between like Gore and his daughter and Thor and Natalie Portman, Jane Foster, that was it. And then one joke that just stuck with me throughout the entire movie was just like when it was showing how Jane and Thor broke up and just showed all the different stresses they went through, and then you just see them both then you see Jane getting busy and Thor becoming more of an asshole, and then they're just arguing that one night, and then she's like, "Oh,
the
I had all this
plates.
work to do," and he's like, "Yeah, I had to." Yeah, the plates, man. It was 2 plates.
Bro, you don't understand, man. It's 2 fucking plates. 2 more that need to be there.
Bro, it's 2 plates. How he spent all night and he didn't even clean them up.
And that gag returns towards the end of the movie too.
Wait, what?
That gag with the plates type thing, with the
Oh
little
does
girl.
it?
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes, it
Yeah.
What does
does.
she do to the plate?
She destroys the. She lasers
No,
the shit out of the pan.
not the plate.
No, that's different. That's different.
Yeah, it's different.
All right.
Yeah, but that was still such a good joke.
That was a good. I like the stuff at the end with the little girl, but like, and we'll talk about
Yeah,
that for
yeah.
sure later on. But yeah, that's not the same as the cleaning the plate thing.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, and then the resolution with Thor and Love, and finding out that kid was actually played by his real life daughter was actually really
I thought
cool.
that was great. Yeah, nice little
Yeah.
incorporation.
Nepotism at its finest. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
encourage some more nepotism if it gives us stuff like this.
I think the other Asgard children were also
Some
played
of
by
them
like
were.
Waititi's children.
Like the director's
yeah.
kids, Natalie Portman's kids, and Christian Bale's
Yeah,
kids
yeah.
were part of like the tour
Ah.
thing because they're actually like a little bit older. They wouldn't really fit the whole kidnapping
Yeah.
aspect. I think they're like
Mhm.
18 or whatever. I don't know their exact age.
And then speaking of cameos, I can't believe they brought Matt Damon and
Mad
Brad
fucking-
Pitt
I
back.
expected them to be back though.
I did
Matt
not. I thought that
Damon-
was like a one-time thing, man.
Well, Matt Damon
It's
and Tom
Matt-
Hiddleston are actually friends, from my understanding.
Oh, okay.
And obviously,
I don't think he got paid for the last cameo. I think
I would
he-
do
Yeah,
that scene
yeah.
for free though. And again, like friends, and like
I like
obviously
how
the
he
guy
was
playing the fake Thor is Chris Hemsworth's younger brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Liam Hemsworth.
No,
that
I
was
think
it.
I think it's Luke
and then I think
Hemsworth.
I think it is Luke.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I know
and then
the when the fucking Thor teleports out and he's like, should we make a play of this? And then and Valkyrie just looking at him. Well, that's not a no. Let's go.
Yeah.
And they start running and they go like this.
Mhm.
Oh, this movie had its comic. Oh, it's just funny as fuck.
I guess it should be fair that we talk a little bit
Um,
about the criticisms too, though.
Mhm.
Go ahead. I'll go first. My only criticism would be I felt like Gore was underutilized. I felt like I wanted to see more of him. I didn't feel like I wanted, but I did want to see more of him.
I think he didn't have enough screen time, but at the same time, I don't know what more they could have done with him because the scenes he was in, he completely stole the show. Like that one, like when he has them all captive and he's just like tearing them all down. Like that was perfect. That's like
Mhm.
as good of a scene as like that scene gave me the vibes of like Spider-Man Far From Home when Mysterio was just like messing with Spider-Man. That one scene with all the illusions, I thought that was just like a perfect villain
I
scene.
agree, but at the
Yeah, no,
same
yeah,
time, I feel like the main thing that they should have done more of was show more of his adventures in butchering the other gods and not just hearing about it off screen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then like actually have him more scenes of him like torturing and chewing the scenery, like not to the same extent that Hela did in Ragnarok, but more like,
Yeah.
I'm this, and like, you are a god who did this, that's why I'm gonna kill you, and blah blah blah, and like more of like his evolution and like how the Necro Sword corrupted him. And somebody on like Twitter pointed this out. I don't know their
Mm-hmm.
name, but basically you see in the beginning, like when he's like first killing his own god, and he has like all the tattoos and stuff, but later you see him and he has like the markings like everywhere that are like removed, and now it's like injuries and crossbones because he removed his own tattoos as like, I renounce this god and whatnot. I was like, I think it would have been like cool, maybe a little gruesome, but I think it would have been nice to see that stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Speaking of corruption, for some reason, actually no, I know exactly why. I could buy him being corrupted by the Necro Sword a little bit more than Wanda being corrupted by the Darkhold in Multiverse of Madness.
WandaVision.
Just because in WandaVision she like gets through her character arc, completes it, and then does a regression, and you have to accept that for the movie. In this one, it kind of makes a little more sense where you see his downfall and you see why he would get corrupted, and it follows through and completes his character arc the way you expect it
Yeah,
to go.
I'm be honest. I'm still not 100% sure what their exact aim was with making Scarlet Witch the villain of Multiverse of Madness. I think she had her moments for
Yeah.
sure, but at the same time, like it did feel
Mhm.
like a lot of scene chewery and not necessarily the character development that it needed.
Yeah, exactly.
The more I think of Multiverse of Madness and Scarlet Witch, it's the more frustrated I get.
Yeah. For me, like I guess like you already talked about, like they should have had some more for the God Butcher stuff. I would say for me it was probably, I don't want to call it pacing, but just like plot convenience near the end that really was like messing with me. Like so initially it's like they're like, okay, Stormbreaker can't take you to the Shadow Realm, and that's
Mhm.
why they're gonna like they're gonna use the ship, use Stormbreaker as a catalyst, and have the goats pull it. But then later down the line, it's like they leave the Shadow Realm, but like Gore goes to like the center of the universe or whatever it is, and Thor can get there
Yeah.
without Stormbreaker. And it's like fair enough. You can argue that Zeus's lightning bolt has similar potential, but it's like, well, why not just take the lightning bolt during the battle? Then if it has the same kind of thing,
Yeah, that lightning bolt kind of got stronger than I expected. I was like, wait, you can just teleport with
yeah.
that? You
And
can
then
do
and then
that?
later, but later online, this is the big one: is that Jane Foster shows up as Thor in the final battle, but
Yeah.
she only has Valkyrie's horse and she has Mjolnir. It's like those two definitely don't have the power to traverse the universe like that. So what was that about?
Mhm. Yeah, like the way it's set up, she's gonna join
Yeah.
the battle at some point, but they didn't leave as good of an out as I would have wanted. But honestly, to me, that's just a nitpick. I mean, like it
I
was
mean,
gonna
yeah,
happen
but
one
I
way or
feel
the
like there
other,
was like a very
and
easy
yeah,
fix. It's like Thor rescues the kids go back, and Jade picks up
yeah,
Stormbreaker from the kids and uses Stormbreaker to get in.
true, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. That would have just like been an easy fix. I felt like that, like, because it also makes the whole like journey of the film in like the beginning of the third act or whatever. It just makes that feel kind of pointless. Like we just spent a lot of time when you could
yeah,
have
just
just
more
like
like a
snapped there instantly. And I get they were saying that Stormbreaker was being temperamental, but at the same time, it's like that's clearly an attitude thing. Like you
yeah,
can like take a, I mean, you
hmm
don't want to take time, but it's like you can get Stormbreaker to figure his shit out.
yeah, yeah. It was more just a plot device to get like the other parts of the story that they wanted done because they need to like slow
Yeah.
down at some point.
That's what I'd say. Like maybe I guess it comes back to pacing a little bit, but yeah, like I felt like those little mm, plot holes or whatever were kind of like, this is very. I see this a lot with Mission Impossible films in particular, but like with Mission Impossible films, I feel like it's okay because they never really try to like explain it in depth. Whereas like you kind of were going into
Yeah,
depth earlier in this film about it, but like now you're ignoring your own previously established
hmm
descriptions.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have any criticisms to add, Air?
No, you kind of covered the main ones that popped up. I didn't really have too many big glaring problems with the movie. I just had a good time.
I'd also just like to add, like, I felt Valkyrie was like kind of superfluous to the whole movie. Like, aside from the fact that she ends the movie in basically the same way that she began the movie, I also felt like it just doesn't really show her being effective in any way. Like,
Actually, yeah, I agree. They kind of shafted her a bit there. I know she had to be in the movie just because Thor. Actually, this is a recurring theme. Thor doesn't want to take responsibility for something on his own. He always has to gather a team to do it. Because if he wanted to, he very well just could solo everything. And we've seen him do it. And even like in this movie near the end, he basically
I don't know. I do feel like he needed help to fight Gore.
Yeah, but did they even help?
I mean, technically, yeah. Like, he would have died if Jane Foster hadn't shown up in the final battle. Because Gore was ready to, like...
Yeah, without Jane, but, like, the other two, he was just kind of hiding behind. He was like, I need other people to make me feel better about this.
Hela would have killed him one-on-one in Ragnarok, for sure.
Yeah, that's also true. And then, but, like, the Guardians earlier, he was doing the same thing with them, where he was just kind of being like, yeah, I'll be on your team. I need people to follow me, and then it's like, he just
I think that was just more like, I don't want to be, maybe this is a broader thing, like, he just doesn't want to be lonely. Mm-hmm. He's so lonely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in that aspect, I think that Valkyrie does kind of help be Thor's, like, she's just his bro, you know?
Which is cool, but it's at the same time,
so
it's
she's
she's also supposed to be the leader of New Asgard. But it's like, and this is one thing, like, I feel like I don't necessarily care about it intrinsically, but I feel like the social justice people will get all up on it, like on Twitter once they rewatch the film. Because like, there's like that whole scene where like all the parents are understandably freaking out and Valkyrie's trying to speak, but no one listens. But then Thor speaks up and everybody shuts up and listens to him. And it's like, fair enough. Like, Thor, like this is like Avenger. He's Thor. He's the OG guy.
And then he just spouts bullshit straight out of his ass. Doesn't even know what to say.
Bro, that's a battle fucking speech if I've ever heard one, right?
Wow, Spidey, you're so problematic.
He kept repeating himself, and it was glorious.
Bro, he started talking, and he didn't know what he was going to say, and then he just busted through the roof.
Well, Stormbreaker, again, the whole thing. But at the same time, I do think that this just kind of illustrated that they didn't really know what they wanted to do with Valkyrie at the end. Like, and actually, this is a question, because I don't really remember if they addressed it, because I only saw the movie once. What happened to Thunderbolt at the end?
Thunderbolt and Lightning, very
good. Did she keep it? Because we didn't actually see her while she was training the kids.
Yeah, I didn't get a good look at it. Because I know that she was using it
in the Shadow Realm to fight Gore, and then she got injured, and then they left. But then it's like the weapon kind
gave it to Thor.
Oh, true. So you're right. Thor did use it to enchant the kids' weapons, which I actually really love that scene, because he got the armor.
Yeah, that was a very cool
smaller one.
Dude, the little girl with the stone.
Yeah.
Teddy
lasering the shit out of everything. It's like a scene straight out of The Boys.
Was that chant that he did to the lightning bolt similar to the one that Odin did on his hammer? Because I feel like there was something having to do with the powerful. Well, that's what I thought.
We also saw that Thor did a similar chant with. I'm not gonna say the fucking name of the hammer, but so he did it with the hammer.
That wasn't so much an enchantment; it was just more like extension. I think is the way to look at it.
I thought that was just a very cute scene. It's nice that that happened, and neither of the characters will ever know that's how and why.
I think they'll eventually tell people. Wait, so are you talking about the kids getting the power, or how Mjolnir got?
Oh no, I was talking about the fact that he enchanted he told the hammer to protect Jane.
I don't even know if he realizes that, because that was in a flashback.
Exactly. Yeah, they'll never know. Yeah, exactly. So like, I like the fact that they'll never actually know that that's why and how that happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt Valkyrie could have been a lot better in her utilization. I feel like this is just. I don't feel like she had much to do in the movie, and they only really added her because, like, probably some kind of contractual obligation with the actress, who always, tries to do her best. And
I mean, I think the moment you saw that they turned New Asgard into an amusement park is when you realize, all right, they don't matter anymore.
Certainly that, but at the same time, it's like there could have been more, and then like you have like
Yeah.
off, like the dialogue with the Korg head being like, "Is it because you lost your girlfriend in the battle, and now you drink your sorrows away with alcohol, and now you have nothing else to do, so you just throw yourself into all these meaningless relationships and kiss women and blah 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 blah?" And it's like, okay, so you just like kind of like brought her into the movie to actually confirm the whole bisexual thing, which is like I'm not against, but it's like, what's the
Yeah, it kind of just
yeah.
regurgitated her problems from Ragnarok without really giving
Yeah.
more of a solution.
And she
but I
doesn't have
think
a relationship
still
at the
it
end of the
helped
movie
in terms.
either. 'Cause here's the thing though,
Yeah, she
you could
doesn't.
have very easily fixed that with like a quick scene of her and Sif like getting together or something.
Yeah.
It's all about
Not
Thor, though.
really. I mean, like maybe in the
Yeah.
first movie it was like arguable, but at this point it's like I don't think it's like that obvious.
It's been 8 years.
Nah. Thor coming up with it's been 7 years,
No,
6
that was for
months,
Jane.
7 days, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
No, I know, that's what I'm talking about. The fact that he's like, he remembered that it
Yeah.
was kind of funny.
Mhm.
Kind of shows that he was never really over her, even though they broke
Oh
up.
yeah.
Sif doesn't seem to have any romantic affection for Thor. She does in the comics for sure, but like in the movie, she's so underdeveloped and underutilized. You could just give her that relationship with Valkyrie and have her like kind of make Valkyrie better. And
I feel like that would have been too out of left field unless they had more of Sif in the movie.
well, I mean, I'm not saying you have to like start the relationship, but like you can just have like, a scene of them flirting or something.
Yeah.
Actually, there's something the next aspect I want to talk about.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so like it goes back to what we're talking about, like Valkyrie. If she got with Sif, Valkyrie would kind of like find that purpose to like move past her trauma with all her like Valkyrie sisters dying, and then obviously there's the whole aspect of like Gore's whole motivation was to like get his daughter. As it turns out, he was just kind of mistaking it for Ren. All he really wanted was her, and then like Thor and the Jane Foster scenario. Well,
Yeah, because he was corrupted.
The Thor and the Jane Foster scenario, doing all of that stuff, and obviously, like I'm seeing all these memes of like, like who's their favorite MCU couple and whatever. And I think it's it goes back to the movie's theme, and obviously Korg ended up getting the dude at the end, Dwayne. I think I thought the mustache was kind of weird, but like,
Dwayne the Rock
Johnson.
Holy fuck! No,
Did King just
no,
die?
I didn't get that.
You didn't get that?
Well played.
I thought you had died there for a
my
minute.
brain kind of farted there, right? Like I didn't realize, like, oh shit, they were making that joke. But no, well done. Okay, so yeah. Okay, no, that's good. Well done, Taika. I shout out to the dude for that. But yeah, no. So I just think like, and Korg obviously talked about earlier in the ship about like how this is how we do it, and like make the baby or whatever. It's just kind of the theme, and then like Thor finds his purpose, like still helping people the way he did with the Guardians, but now he has somebody to look after and give, and it's just like that whole idea of like this is what love does to people. Like it makes us better, it makes us more complete, and people change because of it, and they change for the better because you learn like how to put someone else before yourself, and you learn how to think of others first, and that while you take care of yourself, they become like your first priority. And once you realize that, you become a better person as a result. And I thought the film was a very good demonstration of all that stuff, because like Thor lets go of like Jane at the end. I think they could have done that with Valkyrie with Sif if they'd at least like try to hint at it a little bit. Wait, sorry, when did Dwayne The Rock Johnson never have a mustache?
I didn't get a good look at him, so I thought it was. I only noticed the facial structure.
I was thinking the name. The name
that
was
looked kind of similar.
definitely the intention, but
yeah, and the name obviously. Yeah,
I don't think they. I think they put a mustache just so they couldn't get in trouble.
No way Dwayne The Rock
makes sense.
Johnson would get mad over that. He would find that hilarious.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
Actually, you know what?
Would you
No,
risk it?
fair enough.
Would
I
you
don't
risk
think
it
it
if
would
you're
be Dwayne who gets mad at that. A DC might though. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's that, and obviously, like at the end, Thor playing like dad to Gore's daughter, Love, and making her the pancakes and having the little argument because evidently she has power now because she was resurrected by eternity and she has some kind of cosmic ability. I don't know. They didn't really
Yep.
explain that in detail, but I think we'll probably get that later on. And
Mhm.
that's fine. I don't really mind that. And I thought it was good. Like you said before, like she's
Yeah.
played by Chris Hemsworth's real life daughter, so they obviously have very good chemistry together.
I would
Mhm.
honestly, I was wondering. I was like, dude, this girl is really
Mhm.
good at acting.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, what the fuck? And then my wife actually told me after the movie, it's like, oh, that's his daughter. And I was like, I fucking wonder they got
Yeah.
along so goddamn well, and it fucking
Exactly.
felt believable.
Mhm. I was like, why does Gore's daughter and Thor have so much good chemistry together?
Right.
Was she would like, yeah, shit blew my mind. I did like the slipper scene. Fine,
Yeah.
wear your slippers. Fine,
Mhm.
fine. I'll wear the
Yeah.
boots.
But yeah, no, I thought that all that stuff was like really good, and like the whole theme of like this is love and this is what it does to people, and yeah, no, I really commend them for like having a good take on that. I thought the movie's like theme,
Yeah.
like I thought Korg's exiting outro was really good, talking about like two people fighting the good fight for those who can't fight for themselves.
Mhm.
These are the two people who are known by many names across the universe, but those who love them best know them as Love and Thunder. That was perfect.
Perfect utilization of like the name.
You guys didn't like it when Will Smith said, "So we're some sort of Suicide Squad."
No, I laugh at the line every time.
Because this reminded me of that, but because it was executed so
This
much
was
better.
executed better.
Yeah.
Because I was the incorporation of the title of the movie.
Mhm.
Because in Suicide Squad, the first Suicide Squad, he literally it's like so cringe the way he says it. Also, we're some sort of Suicide
Yeah, it's like you
Squad.
could tell it's just
Very
ooh,
well. I mean,
scripted.
obviously scripted, but it's like more like
Well,
they had no way to like organically
Yeah.
deliver the line.
Like the delivery was. Yeah.
so
Yeah,
nah.
but yeah, no, like really, really well done. Like in
This
terms of like delivering the line, obviously, but just like closing it out. Like this is what we're
Mhm.
about. Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
so I guess we should talk about the end sequence, if you will, a little after Jane arrives.
Oh yeah,
Right.
she's in Valhalla. I'm actually glad that they had that scene. I had my friend actually went. That scene is problematic because it's just an evidence of show don't tell or of tell when they should have just shown or like hinted instead. But I actually think that the entire movie they've been implying that there is no Valhalla or heaven based off of like what Gore experienced and how the gods just
I
kind
don't
of
think
don't
that's
care
true
about the
though,
mortals that much. So
because
the fact
Moon Knight was very clear that afterlives do exist and they're dependent on what your personal belief is.
yeah, okay. That slipped my mind too, but like the way I like that they had that slight confirmation at the end, just because you
Yeah.
weren't really
Well,
sure
my understanding is also that like
until
the
that
gods
scene
don't
hit
necessarily
what was.
control the afterlife because gods go to their own afterlife.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when it comes to like Gore's
yeah,
anger,
true.
it's not so much that the gods like well it is that they lie, but like it's not about you know it's that they don't protect and that they don't care, but it's not that necessarily they're nothing. Like the gods do have power. The places they do exist. Like
Hmm.
Asgard obviously existed. Presumably Olympus exists somewhere. The Egyptian land exists somewhere and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I felt like the incorporation of like that aspect of the Norse myth was good. I will say it was like marginally confusing, and I will say probably also because like Norse
Hmm.
myths aren't really something I'm like deeply invested in. But I would say it's because so my understanding of
Yeah.
like Valhalla was that anybody who dies, like which was like accurate, goes there, including gods. But then it's like
Mhm.
once Ragnarok happens, everybody from Valhalla is resurrected to fight in Ragnarok, and then just like the whole plane of existence like blinks out of existence. But evidently that's not the case in the MCU, which
Mhm.
I'm fine with. I just had that confusion because like that was my understanding based
Mm.
on the myths and the comics.
And I did like that they got to bring Idris Elba and Heimdall back.
He's
just for,
always like
one
really
little
great.
cameo.
Heimdall,
I thought his
bro.
son in the movie was like nice little Guns N' Roses call out.
Yeah. The one thing that just hit me right now actually is, technically speaking, does Loki count as an Asgardian? And would he would, and I think he would. So he would have been in Valhalla too, theoretically. At least this
like
version of
the
him
one
in
that
the
got killed by
canon
Thanos. Yeah, I
timeline,
believe
the main
so.
timeline.
Because like
The one that actually died,
'cause,
yeah.
like,
So I was like, they
I
could
think
have
they
brought
could
him
have
back
had
there
a
if they
cameo
wanted him.
wanted. But I think that was more just like it would be weird if Jane saw him standing there instead of Heimdall. But
I think they both could have been there, or like him just sitting
yeah,
in the
maybe. I don't
distance
know.
or
I would
something, and
think
like
that I think
just a
it's
flash.
fine that they just had Heimdall.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like they would have confused the audience because I mean I'm not saying the audience wouldn't follow, but
The
we
Loki
just
series.
saw him.
Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of
in
people who
Loki.
get very
True.
easily confused
And
about
then-
this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
they'd
so
be
I
like,
guess it's
"Wait,
bad that they left it out.
Dude,
he
there
was
are
over there,
there are
but now he's over
legitimately
here.
people
Wait,
who are
what's going
confused
on?"
about like all the Peter Parkers. It's like, oh, I thought Tom Holland was Peter Parker. So wait, now was Andrew Garfield always
man.
there? Like, was he having his adventures in New York while the Avengers were fighting Loki and the worm robots? I'm like, are you guys seriously that dense? Like, evidently, yes, they are, but
So
Yeah.
I was reading on Reddit on the Thor: Love and Thunder and
Yeah.
Marvel Studios subreddit.
Mhm.
It said Thor asked, "What's
Sorry,
the name
what?
of the timer?"
Mjolnir, yeah.
Mjolnir?
Yeah, okay. Thor asked Mjolnir to protect Jane, which it couldn't really do in terms of the cancer.
Yeah.
Therefore, did Mjolnir turn Jane into Mighty Thor purposely to ensure she would get into Valhalla?
That's an interesting
Now,
theory.
that's an
Huh.
interesting.
I like that because it also,
That's-
and I think that answers
Yeah.
their question about Loki. Because even though, like, yeah, Loki was not Asgardian, he was a Jotun, but he lived as an Asgardian, and Jane
Yeah.
died as an Asgardian warrior. So I think that pushes both of them to Valhalla.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool if they like just drop a little line here or there that's like, yeah, that's what happened. Because that'd be interesting.
I
'Cause
don't
we
think
couldn't
we'll ever
really-
get full confirmation of that, but I do think it's neat that the hammer, even though it couldn't save Jane, it gave her basically what she wanted in the end. She wanted the time that she
Yeah.
had left to be meaningful, impactful, and to save people, and that's what she did. She fulfilled her purpose.
Jane's catchphrases. What did you guys think of them?
You know, typical Taika.
I thought that was a good. That was a good bit.
The what did okay, so the ending sequence when we have Gore, Jane, and Thor with Eternity, right?
Mhm.
What did you guys think of the execution of that scene? Because did you guys think that Gore was gonna wish for the gods to be killed, or because I know some people were saying they thought, oh, Gore's gonna give Thor the wish so he could
Yeah,
kill
like
Jane.
that did flash through my mind a little bit, but I didn't want it to happen. I felt it would have cheapened a lot. Like we already got Korg's death and
Well, I mean, Korg
Valkyrie's
didn't
death
die,
kind
though,
of cheapened,
and
and they
neither
just
did
kind of
Valkyrie.
survived. I know, but like that's what like they made you think he did, and it felt kind of cheap both times. So I feel like if they faked out another death a third
Probably,
time in the
yeah.
movie, it would have been like a little too much. So I felt
I
like
didn't
it could
think
have
that was
happened, but
gonna
I didn't
happen.
want
I honestly
it to.
did think that like the movie did a good enough job of portraying him as
Yeah.
like going there to like wish for all the gods to like blink out of existence, and obviously Eternity could do that because he's like highest tier next to
Yeah.
like the other guys.
Yeah, and
That
that's what the
too,
Necrosword
yeah.
wanted him to do as well.
And
So
like,
it was like
I
a
guess
promise
because
less
the
corruption.
Necrosword was like broken, he did start slowly regaining a little bit of sanity and remembering like this is like I did this because my daughter died, I loved her, and like I want her back. But like, and then he kind
Yeah.
of was like, well, I guess I'll entrust her to these strangers. But I guess that's better than not having her
Yeah.
around.
Mhm.
Damn. Any other aspects of the movie or scenes we want to talk about?
I feel like I've covered
I think
everything.
that covered
that
most of my thoughts
is
on it.
immediately come to my
Yeah.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Fun little question. Thor's hammer or Thor's axe? Which do you prefer?
I mean,
The Thor's
like the
axe.
axe now.
I like both of them. I do
Stormbreaker.
think it's like kind of nice that at the end scene again like was really good, and I thought it was cool. Like, well, like she like the daughter is now going to use Stormbreaker probably because the worthiness enchantment does exist on Mjolnir, so she basically is too young or like not mature
Yeah.
enough to like wield it. So that's like I think that's like a good acceptable trade off. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Oh.
Also, Thor's hammer. He got that special ability now
Yeah.
where he'll
Drawing
break
all
into
over it.
pieces.
That was really
Oh,
well done.
that was so cool. That was like one of the coolest abilities in the movie, I think.
Yeah, that shit threw me off. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
I was like, how are they gonna
And
make toys off of this?
Oh, they're gonna.
No, I think they can
Oh,
do
dude,
that. Just
they're
make
gonna
it like a Lego
oh, shit,
style of whatever.
Yeah. Man, every time they used it, just so cool.
that shit was pretty dope. It was like, oh, they're overwhelmed. Hold on, let me use Thor's hammer.
Because you could probably also
They're
like
gone.
fight all your battles
Yep.
long distance this way too, so you never really have to like get involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, I think I don't have anything else. I think
Thor
Mm-hmm.
Thor 1, his brother betrays him. Thor 2, his mother is
Mhm.
murdered.
like,
Thor
he loses
3,
literally
his
everyone.
father dies. Thor 4, his girlfriend dies of cancer.
Yeah.
Thor keeps taking
Hey,
out.
Yeah.
this is if you think about it, this is the first movie where he gained something. It's like sure, yeah, he lost, the girl he loved, but like he has a daughter now, and he's going to
Yeah.
spend the rest of his life presumably. Actually, I don't know what the
Mhm.
case is with her,
Now-
but like presumably he's like.
Now, what happens
immortal.
when she grows up and then Thor just goes back to being aimless again?
Well, no, I think by then he'll like have enough development. Like, I think that's the next question I was going to ask. Was like, is she immortal, like the little girl? Like, because we don't know anything about Gore's species.
Yeah.
Well, she
Eternity.
was brought back to life
Mhm.
by Eternity, so I'm guessing she's
She has
given some
powers
special
for sure,
powers or
because like
some
Gore
shit.
obviously didn't have the laser vision or whatever, so presumably she got that part from Eternity. But my question is like, does she age like a normal like human? Does she age slower than a human? Because there's no way. Because like according to Odin, they said Asgardians live like 5,000 years. There's no way she's gonna
Yeah.
live 5,000 years unless like Eternity did something to her.
hmm I feel like if they do want to bring her back, like at first with the way the movie ended, I wasn't sure if they would bring either of them back. They said Thor will return.
Oh, he will.
So yeah, so he will. I'm just really not sure if they're actually gonna bring Love back, and if they do, I think they're gonna have to age her up, to make her more like, you know.
Eric, just remember, this is Chris Hemsworth. If they don't want to piss off Chris Hemsworth, they're gonna let his daughter be whatever age she is.
I think
she
that's
grew up a little bit.
I
That's
think
cool.
that's a
It's cool. Don't
valid
even
question
trip.
though, because
We'll work it in the story.
I think she'll definitely come back and be played by Chris Hemsworth's daughter. But I don't know how old his daughter is. But like, let's say
Yeah.
she comes back like, I don't know how old she is. But let's assume she's 10, and she comes back in 5 years as like a teenager, so she'll be 15. Would she at that point be like working with like a new group of like young Avengers or something like that? Or would they just say that she's
that
older
could
than she
happen.
actually is, and maybe she's just small because of her species or whatever? Or they age slower, blah blah blah.
I think they'll find a way to like give us a line or two, whether it shows that she aged fast because of her species or slowed down in age because of her species. Because I really do believe Kevin Feige is very loyal to his actors. This is why there was so many rumors that he was pissed with Disney because they didn't want to pay Scarlett Johansson. So I don't think he would do Chris Hemsworth dirty. I guarantee if he could, I'll be like, you know what? Okay, you
I
want
looked
to
it
bring your
up. You're right.
daughter
His
in?
daughter
That's
is
cool.
10.
I was just guessing, but great.
Yeah.
So I just feel like Thor is literally their guy
Yeah.
for now. And Chris Hemsworth has literally said he'll do them as long as they want him to.
Yeah.
He has no issue. And you could tell he's
Now
really
at least,
enjoying
yeah.
doing the
And
film.
Thor
he can
2,
probably
low
like
point.
have like a thing similar to what Doctor Strange is doing, just kind of like popping in here and there. Or like I think he'll
Yeah.
move more upwards to like the cosmic level stuff.
and he very clearly is stronger than
Now,
Captain
here's the
Marvel
thing: at the end of the
when
movie, it
he
said
died.
Thor will return. I think that still could technically mean Jane Foster Thor in some
So I
capacity.
disagree only because
Mhm.
there is actually a comic which takes place after the whole like Jane Foster Thor thing. And what actually happens to her is she did die in the comics, but she
Mhm.
got resurrected as a Valkyrie.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
I like that way you're thinking
Yeah.
though, Aaron. That'd be pretty dope. There is the What
Yeah,
If
true.
Oh yeah,
series
well, I,
season
I
2.
wasn't really counting what
Never
if, but
know.
I do think
Oh yeah.
I'm not against Natalie Portman coming back either. I think she is a good actress. Did a good job in
Yeah.
this role. Like if they want to like, or even have her like obviously there are comics where there's many alternate versions of Thor, so she could again return as like an alternate just version of Thor, just not be
Mhm.
the main MCU Jane Foster. Because I also feel like to have her be resurrected and come back as Thor again would just be kind of cheap to her whole arc in
A
this
backside,
movie.
yeah. Mhm.
Oh, it would piss off so many fans. Why can't they bring back Tony Stark?
But that's also
Why
that's
can't they bring back
obviously like an actor
Captain
related thing.
America?
Like I don't think Robert Downey Jr. wants to come back anytime soon. I think that's like he wants to
Yep.
be out for a long time. And there was actually we can also talk about this because I think this is like a good point to like bring up.
Go ahead.
I'm adding a note.
Oh, you're adding a note.
Some news article a
Um,
day or two ago
yeah.
tweeted about like the next Captain America movie, talking about what's going to happen, and they made a comment about like what we don't know if what's happening regarding like who's Captain America, regarding like with will Chris Evans return, like we're not sure. So and then Chris Evans like ratioed the fuck out of their tweet responding
Yeah.
Sam Wilson. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sam Wilson
The
is
Hollywood
Captain
Reporter,
America, and
yeah.
then he started trending on
Good.
Twitter,
Okay. Yeah.
being like, "No, like we've had the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, I in
Yeah.
retrospect think that it was probably not as great as I initially thought it was. It definitely has a lot of
I agree with you
problems,
there. Yeah.
but it's not like a
Mhm.
bad series. And fundamentally, yes, he's correct. Sam Wilson is now Captain America. Like you have to
Yeah.
move
There's no getting
on
around that.
and accept it. It's not saying Chris Evans will never come back. I think he can totally return. He could do like a voice in What If, and he could even be like alternate universe Captain America. They could do a time travel series again, movie again, where he shows up. Worst case scenario, he shows up again as the Human Torch when they make the Fantastic Four movie.
Man, I
That would be
wish.
hilarious. But like my point is, Sam Wilson is Captain
Dude.
America. He's going to be Captain America
Yeah.
in the fourth film when they eventually make it. Chris Evans at most will like cameo on the moon or whatever they said he was. That's the end of the story.
Yeah.
On the moon. Anthony Mackie did a good job in
yeah.
the show
Yeah.
Falcon and
I
Winter
think
Soldier.
Anthony Mackie is a very good actor. I
mean-
think he was. I
Yeah,
don't
he's a
know
great
the
actor.
name of the movie, but because I only caught like the middle of it. What?
Mhm.
8 Mile. Clarence.
In what?
I'm just saying.
I wasn't
he was
talking about 8 Mile,
Clarence
but that's
in
good
8
too. I
Mile.
was talking about a different
8
movie where
Mile.
he was like with, I think it was Sam Jackson, where he was like a banker who was like discriminated against, so he bought the bank, and it was like a whole shit based on a true story. He was in Black Mirror, one episode of that.
Mm.
The name of
The
the movie was The
Banker.
Banker. Okay, yeah,
The name
I
of
didn't know that. That's
the
great.
movie is The Banker.
Yeah, so like he was
Yes.
in an episode of Black Mirror that was really good, and I also had the girl who plays Mantis in it. So like yeah, he's very good actor. Like he does a good role. Like I could the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series have been better, and in terms of its dialogue, 100% yes.
Yeah, the writing aspect was a little weak there, but
Especially in the last episode.
oh yeah.
But I think
Oh
fundamentally,
no, yeah,
like he's
1000%.
Captain America now. Aside from the fact that you should give him a chance to prove it, it's very clear that Chris Evans doesn't want to return in the role anytime soon.
Yep.
Just let the dude do his thing. The same with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. I don't think either of them really want to come back anytime soon,
Exactly.
so we should just kind of let them rest, you know?
And when the longer you
I
give
don't
them,
think
the cooler it is
Evans
when
will
they
ever
do
come
return.
back.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, just
very
look at No Way
good. I
Home.
hope it. I mean,
Fucking
granted, I
good.
hope it doesn't take like 15 years or whatever. But yes,
It'd be cool if like the next Avenger or the final Avengers film, and this saga has all the past heroes: Captain America, Chris Evans, and then
You guys
Tony
want to talk
Stark, and
about
anybody
like
else who
future
dies.
movies?
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could talk about a bit. Let me
I think
pull it
next
up
up
real
on the roster is
quick.
one I actually forgot about because they just haven't been marketing it at
haven't.
all. Is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
It's very interesting in that like the latest movie, like this movie, like, and then even you can argue a little bit about Multiverse of Madness. They have not had like a lot of like push for it, and I realize that with multiverse,
Yeah.
with Wakanda Forever, there's still like 4 months or so till it comes out.
Mhm.
But it's like even this movie, like we didn't get trailers prior to like maybe 2.5 months ago, roughly speaking.
Yeah. hmm I do,
I kind of
yeah.
like
Although
that
we kind of
though,
already knew about Jane stuff
because
from like comic panels, but I feel
Yeah.
like we still know even less about the new Black Panther movie than anything.
Most of what we know from the new Black Panther movie actually seems to have come from like spoiler leaks and stuff like that, not
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
press related things. I
Mhm.
mean, obviously, like we know that they're not recasting Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P. dude. But
Yep.
like, and as a result, like Shuri and like the other characters who are like important to his kind of immediate circle are getting bigger roles. They obviously announced that what's her name, Dominique Thorne is going to show up first here as Riri Williams before getting her Ironheart series, which is like
Oh
Spidey and I have
yeah.
talked about that in the past, so I'm not going to like get into too much
Mhm.
detail of that. But we'll let that part go. But like, yeah, we
Mhm.
don't have like a trailer. We don't even really have like concept footage. I think they only just like
Yeah.
last week announced like Namor is going to be in the movie, and this is his.
But they
I'm
did?
pretty sure, unless I was totally
Huh.
wrong.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
Huertas, I think
they
was his
cast
name.
the guy, and then his apparel is
Well, I
very
mean,
Aztec
makes sense. Like,
esque, which is nice because I love my Aztec.
yeah. So, Spidey, can you pronounce this name? Because I don't want to like. Well, actually, I don't care. His name is Tenoch Huerta. I'm probably butchering the fuck out of it. Tenoch Huerta.
Mhm.
Tenoch.
So, like, I
Tenoch.
don't know this actor at all,
There you go.
but from the look of him, I feel like he's actually like, I feel like he looks like what Namor would look like. Because my understanding of Namor, based on like comics and some other stuff, is that he is like Mediterranean, like under the sea type of slick hair. Oh, I see what you did there, but
Under
yeah.
the sea.
I forget. Isn't he a mutant as well? Does that mean
Yes.
like?
So
Oh, okay.
that's another thing. Is I don't know if they're doing that in this movie. Like,
Yeah, I feel like if
weird.
they do, they'll like kind of gloss over it a little.
Yeah.
They keep referencing mutants. Remember, Falcon Winter Soldier had that city
What?
of
Mm.
mutants
Mhm.
and the chemical. Yeah,
Madripoor,
that
but
city.
I
I
thought
think
that was just
Maripol.
like
I think
they were
that's
getting injections,
Madripoor.
not like born
Yeah.
mutants the way the X-Men are.
Mhm.
They have some like transcended, like changed mutants in the way of like Monica Rambeau, because that was a WandaVision thing.
Yeah.
But the whole born mutant thing doesn't really seem to have been a case except for Scarlet Witch, and I don't know if her
Yeah.
brother counts because the way that well, I mean yes, but like my point is
He's dead.
the initial idea with the two of them was like the Mind Stone gave them their powers, and then WandaVision is
Yeah.
kind of like, oh no, you Wanda already like had your power technically,
Mhm.
but then you kind of suppressed it, and then the Mind Stone brought it out and just like expanded the fuck out
Mhm.
of it. But I don't know if that's the case for
Yep.
Quicksilver. But I'm gonna bet
Mhm.
that it's not.
Yeah. And then speaking of future stuff, so I kind of thought that at the end of the movie they could have like I think this was actually just a brain fart, not realizing that this could happen. But when they showed Zeus talking to someone, sending someone after Thor, I was like, wait, could that be Beta Ray Bill? But then I realized, oh wait, no, it's Hercules. That's just the obvious answer. But yeah, now that Love has Stormbreaker, I feel like Beta Ray Bill is even less possible than
That's a good
before.
point. For those who don't understand, Beta Ray Bill is a character in Marvel Comics who's basically not the Thor armor, but he's a giant dog man, so to speak. And he beat Thor in like hand-to-hand combat, and so Odin forged him a weapon like Mjolnir, which is the Stormbreaker axe in the comics. It doesn't have quite the same properties as the film version because the film version has the Bifrost like imbued in it, whereas like the
Yep.
comic book doesn't. But like, so that's the thing is like what would they do with Beta Ray Bill now? Like they already like hinted that he exists somewhere because his face showed up in Ragnarok on the Grand Champion pillar or whatever it was called. But now like so his weapon's name is used by Thor's daughter. He clearly exists though, so it's like what else could they do?
Yeah.
Like
Maybe they'll just keep him as
keep him in the
never
back
seen
pocket for when Thor
character.
leaves.
I mean, I don't know, maybe I would say the only other option I
Yeah.
think is alternate universe.
Yeah, true. Oh, yeah, that's also another way to do it.
Yeah, that's my thought there. But
Yeah.
I am curious about the whole Wakanda Forever scenario. I am just curious how they're going to handle Chadwick Boseman's in series scenario. My personal theory is that the movie begins with like the whole underwater earthquakes they were talking about in Endgame getting bad, and he probably dies saving them from like Namor or something to that effect, because like maybe Namor's angry that all the vibranium is fucking with the underwater ocean or what have you, and that's why he like in the comics like they have like a mutual respect for each other, but they are also kind of I guess frenemy is like the best way I can put it.
Yeah. They're like rivals, adversaries.
But like it's a begrudging type of respect. It's like they would I don't know. I'm curious for sure, but I feel like that's probably the best out to like give him a heroic send off, and then like the rest of the film is like, what do we do now without our king and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it gets to flesh out the rest of the characters.
And just like explore Namor.
Do you guys think that? Well, it's a two-part. Do you think that Bucky will appear in Wakanda?
Where did he leave off at the end of Endgame?
Well, it's not about where he left off at Endgame.
Oh wait, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's right.
He was just with Sam. They're just going around.
Because remember, because he's still
kind of moved on, but he could very well come back.
I don't think they want a favor from him though.
Yeah.
I remember there being a line saying "you owe us" or some shit.
I mean, if it happened, by all means, but I don't really think that they.
I think Bucky does understand that he like owes them a debt for like clearing his brainwashing. Like that's kind of something I think Bucky would put on himself rather than them.
I agree, and I don't think they were asking like, "Hey, like we made this suit for Sam, now you owe us something." It's like, I think they were happy to do that.
And then, do you guys think our first introduction in the big screen anyway of Sam as Captain America will be
he's Captain America.
Oh no. Yeah, I think they're gonna save him for his feature film. I don't think they should use him again until that point. But the other interesting TV show connection that could come along is after Black Panther is Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania in February, which is sooner than I realized. Because then we get to get more of like Kang, because I remember they confirmed that he was going to be the villain of that movie. So then we finally get some follow-up from Loki.
Yes, it's gonna be interesting. We forgot to do this, but I think this is a good place to stop since we have gone for a good while.
I will say, I also just want to add that, like, given that Kang is Nathaniel Richards' super long 1,000-year descendant of Reed, and obviously the whole like Ant-Man, quantum energy, Hank Pym, subspace, whatever. I think this is probably like the best avenue for them to start introducing the Fantastic Four in the MCU.
Oh yeah, that could be the start.
Yeah, like the 616 version, and please bring back what's his face, John Krasinski.
I think they said they weren't gonna bring him back.
They did bring him back because he was the requested fan cast, but I don't think that implies that they won't bring him back. Because if you bring him back bring him in because he's a fan cast, and then you're like, well, you got your fan cast, fuck you, now you're gonna get someone else. Fans are gonna be mad, which is like, well, then why did you give them what they want in the first place? It's like dangling a lollipop in front of a kid and then like taking away, like that's mean as shit.
I think it was like a test run, and since it had positive reception, they're probably going to
People criticized the character in the movie, but like that was understandable. But that was like the character.
Oh yeah, that's just the character. Not, like the casting itself,
he looked good in the role. Like, I think that was like fine.
Proceeds to tell smartest man in the world proceeds to tell Olivia and their entire plan to stop her. 10
Yeah,
out of 10.
curious, obviously, like who they end up getting like for the
So we
other
could
2
end.
roles. Like, I mean, well, 3 roles.
Yeah.
I'm still like
Well,
marginally hopeful that they'll bring in Chris Evans, but at the same time, like that's probably not going to happen.
Nah.
Well, he
They
has
won't.
said that it's an easier
be
sell
nice.
for him than coming back as Captain America. He has said that,
Really?
yeah. Like he would sooner come back as the Human Torch than Captain America, but at the same time, I don't
That's funny.
expect that to even happen. Although I would like it.
Yeah. I think when he's saying that, he means he'd sooner come back as like a short-term cameo, like how Andrew Garfield came back as Spider-Man or Tobey Maguire
I
came
mean,
back as
maybe,
Spider-Man.
but I don't. Well, I'd have to reread the interview, but I do feel like he would sooner come back as a big role like that.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
It'd be easier for him to come to re-establish himself as a Human Torch because that movie flopped so bad. He probably wants to like.
I don't think
come
anybody
back and be like,
disagreed with
"See,
that.
I
Like he was one
a
of the
good
best
Human
parts
Torch. It was
of
just a
those
Yeah.
movies. Him
movie.
and the Human Torch and whoever did like the cast wasn't the issue in that movie. It was just the writing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, those movies are my childhood. The first 2 Fantastic Four movies. Oof.
Hilarious. I'm just kidding. So we should when we close, we should give a rating to the movie, and we should rank the Thor movies in.
I feel like
order
most
from
of our lists will
our
be the
least
same, but for me, I give the film
Yeah.
solid B plus. Oh, I don't know what you
okay.
guys wanted, but like
Air.
Yeah, I guess I'll go for an A.
Cool. I agree with Air. It's an A for me. And the Thor movies
go
ranked
Ragnarok,
overall, King.
Love and
How would you
Thunder,
rank them?
or for the first movie, and then Dark World.
And I'm guessing Air for you. It's Love and Thunder, Ragnarok.
Nah, it's
1
Love and Thunder,
2.
Infinity War.
Okay, that's
Endgame,
obviously not what
Ragnarok,
Spidey was asking for.
1 and 2. Listen, he stole
I'm
the
not
show in those
disagreeing with
movies
that,
too.
but it's not Thor's billing.
It's Avengers.
Okay, well then
and
why don't you just
Thor,
throw in,
King. It's
the
Avengers
first
and
Avengers movie by that logic?
Yeah, no, that goes like near
Oh,
the
what the
bottom.
hell?
That's fine.
Yeah, rewatch that movie.
I think it
does not
holds
hold
up phenomenally. Yeah.
Nah.
You probably think the Sam
I think
Raimi
Spider-Man
trilogy
2 holds
up.
holds up too, don't you?
You're disgusting.
That's disgusting. I remember Air was like, "Yo, Spider-Man is amazing." I was like, "Rewatch the movie. It doesn't hold up." He's like, "You're
I think
wrong."
Spider-Man 3
Yeah,
doesn't
you're right, it
hold
doesn't
up, and
hold
you
up.
can certainly argue Spider-Man 1 doesn't, but I think Spider-Man 2's train scene is still one of the best action sequences in a superhero film.
2 is the one I didn't rewatch, but 1 and 3 definitely were way more
I agree
jarring
with
to
that.
watch this time around
Yeah.
than before. Yeah.
So there you guys have it. We got A's and B's all around for Thor: Love and Thunder.
Absolutely.
Do you want to say your goodbyes?
I was dropping a note.
It's okay. Say it.
Anyway,
Oh, my bad. I was like,
all right, listeners, thank you very
Go on.
much for joining us on this little adventure with the Thor film. We really enjoyed the movie, as you can tell overall. We hope you did as well. If you have not seen it yet, it's most definitely playing in a theater near you. If it's not, then you need to get the fuck out of wherever the hell you live and go somewhere else, because we don't advise people living under rocks. It tends not to be good for your health or for your popularity. Air, thank you for joining us on this podcast. We always enjoy having guests, and we will most definitely have guests in the
thank you for
future.
having me.
So yeah, thank you. Hopefully you can one day catch up with Fairy Tale and possibly start Eden Zero. Although, to be honest, I don't even watch Eden Zero or read it. So it's like, that's just whatever. I don't really plan to either, but we'll see what happens later down the line. Obviously, as we mentioned before, Dav is dealing with personal stuff. Marissa is on vacation. So when the regular podcast comes back around, we'll see what happens. But until then, thank you all for listening, and we hope you all have a wonderful day.
bye, guys.
See ya.
Air will be back.
No, Air will return.
Air will return.